Ubermod is a modulation plugin, and if I need to describe modulation in audio or in music, actually, I'd say creating movement. Mod, well, that's pretty obvious. That is the modulation part, and Uber is German for above, over. Ubermod is pretty much that. It's maybe the most extensive modulation plugin that I know of. And it reminds me of my old Roland RSP 550 delay box. It was a hardware box that had a lot of very cool delay tricks. And Ubermod also works with delay lines and a couple modulators. And the first thing you'll see is that it follows the paradigm, for lack of a better word, that Valhalla seems to use in all their plugins. And that is the simplicity of the GUI is very important in Valhalla plugins. They are very simple to operate. Everything you need is right there. There's no hidden menus. Well, Ubermod is probably the only exception to that rule because it has a couple tabs at the top here that we're going to dive in later on. But most of the Valhalla plugins use very simple, easy to use GUIs. And most of them do a couple things the same. And that is, in the lower half of the GUI, you'll see these menus for presets, for delay times in this case, and for the modes. And all the Valhalla plugins use this GUI design. And it's also self-documenting. That means that wherever you hover your mouse cursor over, you'll get to see tooltips in this line over here. If I hover my mouse over width, it actually explains what that slider is doing. If I hover over tabs here, you'll see what that will reveal, right? Now, the preset menu is pretty self-explanatory. Of course, there are a couple presets for you to choose from and to check out what Ubermod is capable of. Like I said, sync is for musical delay times, and mode hides a couple different algorithms that Ubermod works with. The default is 2-tap chorus. That means that it is made up of 2 delay lines, one for the left channel, one for the right channel. But we'll get into that all later. Let's first explore these faders over here. Mix, well, that is pretty clear. It's where you make a mix between the dry signal and the wet signal. 100% is only the affected sound, and 0% is only the unaffected sound. So anything in between will get you a blend of that. Depth, this is, I'll be coming back to this a little later on, but what this basically does, it gives you a global control over the depth of both the slow modulation and the fast modulation. Those are these 2 knobs right here. And setting those anywhere above 0% will give you a bit of modulation, but only as long as this slider is not at 0%. Okay? Then there's width. Width gives you control of the stereo width of the different delay lines. Delay is, of course, the delay in milliseconds. This only works if sync here is on free instead of any of the tempo divisions. It's now on 1/4 note, so this will not do anything anymore. It still works, but it doesn't affect the timing of the delays. And this here is, of course, the feedback. You can use this to set the amount of sound coming back into the plugin, creating more and more echoes, so to say. So those are the sliders. Let's go to the next video and let's get into these tabs here.